The Playhouse, live at the Hedgehog Creative. This has been amazing. Like, this concept has blown my mind. It was interesting preparing for this thing because, you know, you're preparing to be in front of 20 people when I'm used to preparing for bigger crowds. And what I had to do differently for this one was I had to strip down a lot of my songs. I had to be more vulnerable with the stories. I had to think through what state of mind or state of heart I was in when I actually came up with that art, with that music. And it was fun. I really enjoyed being able to just look in and be like, oh, I know you guys, yeah. And I could vibe with the audience very, very closely because they were right next to me. Sound was great. The ambience was fantastic. I love this gig and I can't wait for the next one. So yeah, it's gonna be great.
As I said, I started recording music in 2005. And there's this one song that I released in 2006 that for me it feels like it's my breakout moment. Till today, people still tell me that song, there was something special about it. I'll get into the why I think it was so special afterwards, but yeah, here it is. Can't get up and dance, you can just snap your fingers like so. Usiku na mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda. Hey. Maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote, maisha yangu ni ibada yangu. Mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda. Hey. Maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote, maisha yangu ni ibada yangu. Hey. So snap your fingers like so. After years of doing this song, we added a bit of spice to it, a bit of aromat. So there you go, Mr. Mithi on the keys, Mr. Minor on the bass. Mola nitakuabudu vipi? Najua wastahili lakini sijui mimi natakikana kufanya nini ili niwe kifaa, kitu cha kukupendeza. Nataka sana tukung'aa, jo hata ukikaa enzini ukiniona utapata hamu ya kutabasamu. Ibada yangu yote iwe kaharufu tamu, yote ninayofanya, yote ninayowaza. Kweli Mungu wangu wewe ndiwe mfalme, siwezi kufahamu kiwango cha nguvu zako. Ni vipi mimi binadamu mwenye dhambi naweza kuja hapa kusimama mbele zako? Ni kufunga idadi ya mara ninazoomba au ya nyimbo ninazoimba? Ni matendo kutoa pesa nyingi kwa sadaka au kanisa ninazojenga? Si matendo menyokoa kwa neema, ndio maana moyo wangu unalia wewe ni mwema. Si matendo, ni maisha yangu yote, naomba nikuabudu kwa kweli siku zote. Usiku na mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda. Hey. Maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote, maisha yangu ni ibada yangu. Hey. Usiku na mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda. Hey. Maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote, maisha yangu ni ibada yangu. Hey. Trying to paint the picture of a perfect God through my imperfection proves quite difficult when I'm on my own strength. But by His Spirit I could live my life exemplary, so that I could live the life that shows it to be ministry. See us saved people talk a good game, but our foul ways just bring shame to His name. We profane Him, and yet we claim to evangelize but we close our eyes as we try to lead the blind and we lead them astray. They should know us from our fruits, and this will only work with Jesus as the root. Worship comes from the core, your innermost being, forgetting what you were before. So if you're on the floor and you're kneeling when you're praying, I pray the living God that you mean what you're saying. I pray the living God that you practice what you preach. Be careful of your doctrine, it determines who you reach. Usiku na mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda. Hey, maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote, maisha yangu ni ibada yangu. Hey, usiku na mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda. Hey, maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote, maisha yangu ni ibada yangu. Hey. So no, the interesting thing about this next part is a whole bunch of you will not understand what I'm going to be saying, because I did this song first in Swahili, then in English, and because that was around the time when I cleared high school, and after high school people did French classes, I wrote a verse in French. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Quant à Dieu, d'après sa volonté, je sais, il souhaite tout le monde serait sanctifié en sacrifice vivant pour être saint. Ça c'est la clé d'un bon rapport avec le Créateur, pas la religion. Tout puissant, il n'est pas loin, il est près de toi. Il est intime, si tu veux, si vous voudrez, il va manger avec toi. Ouvre la porte, il va entrer sans équivoque, c'est la vérité. Jésus, if you truly worship him, then God will bless you. There's more to it, better love one another. If you love God, then you will love your brother. Hata jirani yanayekufa hafai kudai, sisi tukijua dawa ya uhai. Why lie? We don't know how to worship, you reveal it. The only way to worship is in truth and in spirit. Nakupa roho yangu, pokea utukufu. Nafsi yangu Baba, nakupa wewe. Nakupa roho yangu, pokea utukufu. Nafsi yangu Baba, nakupa wewe. Like the old days, I'm gonna need you to clap with me, so here we go. Nakupa roho yangu, pokea utukufu. Nafsi yangu Baba, nakupa wewe. Very nice. One more time. Nakupa roho yangu, pokea utukufu. Nafsi yangu Baba, nakupa wewe. Usiku na mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda. Hey, maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote, maisha yangu ni ibada yangu. Hey. Wow, it's been a while since I wrote that. I actually wrote that song when I was 18. So I remember it quite vividly. I was seated in my room in my mom's house, writing on a Kartasi brand notebook that could not have been more than 20 shillings. And I sat down and I wrote the entire song in one sitting. That rarely happens. That one, I can honestly say I don't feel like I was clever enough to write that song. That's one of those where God just kind of just dropped it on my lap. So I was excited. I was very excited. I was like, hey, I have this song and everything. At that time, I was signed to a record label known as Kijiji Records, owned by the brilliant Kanji Mbugua, and I was working with a producer named David Blackman Mudami. So I go to Kanji and Davey, and I'm like, hey, I have this song. I wrote it. By then, we had already established a working relationship. So I just pitch ideas to them, and we'd get them done. So they hear the verses, they're like, those are nice. Those are very nice. So I sing the chorus, and they're like, it has a nice melody. Now, let me just enlighten everybody. When you sing and somebody tells you that is a nice song or that is a nice melody and makes no reference to your singing voice at all, they are saying something without saying something. So the next time I came to studio, I found... So what I did, I recorded my idea, which was like a guide idea. Like, hey, this is the chorus that as I envisioned. So next time I come to studio, I find somebody else's voice on the track. So I was upset. I was like, what's going on? And okay, so... but the voice that they got was way superior to mine. The brilliant Dan Aseda, also known as Cheesy. So he came and he sang and he killed it. And this song, the reason I feel like it's so special because it was one of those situations where it was like freak accident, happenstance, lightning in a bottle. We cannot recreate those factors to do another song because Cheesy came and sang on the song. He sang the chorus. And then one random day, Atemi Oyungu, Kanji Mbugua, and his wife Mwendi Mbugua were in the studio and they were like, how about we sing that bridge? And the Nakupa part, I didn't even know who Atemi was, and she came and she absolutely murdered it. She killed it. And then Aaron Rimbui, jazz pianist extraordinaire, was also in the studio and he was like, I like this song. So he played keys on that song. So it's like the song just kept snowballing into this thing that was outside of my control. To this day, I'm like, there's no way I could have thought this through. There's no way I could have engineered it to bring all of these people together, but it happened. Another reason why I think this song is special is something that I did out of instinct, but later in my years as a songwriter, I realized that it was actually quite brilliant. But again, as I said, I wasn't clever enough to think about that. So here's where we get into a little bit of music theory. Music theory light 101. You guys ready? Yes. All right, cool. So, in music we have notes. Yes, are we together? Notes? So far, so good. Great. When notes are played in harmony, we create what we call chords. Yes, I'm going to do the church thing. Turn to your neighbor and say chord. In fact, just break protocol kidogo mbithi. Play a C note. So that is a C note. So a chord is at least 3 or more notes in harmony together. So play a C chord. Make sense? Now, songs are made up of chord progressions, which is simply meaning how you go from one chord to the next chord, etc. Now, for popular songs, they're actually winning chord progressions. There's some chord progressions that you hear and you feel like, I know this song even though you're hearing it for the first time. It's because it's like a mathematical formula. There's some that just work. And I realized later that this song actually falls in that category. So let me demonstrate for you. So just play the chord progression for Ibada Yangu, please. So this is Ibada Yangu, yes? So example. So usiku na mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda, hey. Maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote. So you can recognize this is Ibada Yangu, yes? But it's also Haya, 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 haya. Sound familiar? Okay, how about I leave the continent a bit? So something like, it's gonna take a lot to take me away from you. There's nothing in the world no more could ever do. I don't know the words. This is the rains down in Africa. God bless the rains. So that sounds familiar too. Or listen to your heart. Na 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 na. Listen to your heart. It's the same progression. Or if we make it more recent, keep going. Don't stop. There are like hundreds of songs, but I picked a few that. I'ma catch a grenade for ya. Na 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 for ya. You see why you feel like you already like this song even though you're hearing it for the first time. But this one really made me laugh. If I were a boy, then I would understand. Oh man, just keep going. There's also wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. You see, this progression just wins. It wins. There's another one. Oh yeah, this one really made me laugh. Baby, I don't need dollar bills to have fun tonight. Maybe I don't need dollar bills to have fun tonight. Okay, last two. This can go on forever, like for real. This one really made me laugh as well. Hello from the other side. Na 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 na. I don't know the words. Yeah, you get the idea. Now this one showed me that I'm in very good company. Just play it in half times, which is slower. Slightly faster. There you go. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Despacito, na 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 na. Know the words to this song, everybody. Despacito. Okay, that's enough. Enough of that. So my song is in good company. It's in very good company.